manageable, a lot easier. Today on the live, I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching, and we are going to discuss it. So, what have we been talking about? Well, we went over negativity bias. Okay, so humans are prone to negativity bias first. Okay, so we learned that. We learned that, automatically when we view something, we're not looking for the positive aspects of it. We're looking for the negative aspects of it. Why? It's a survival mechanism. Okay, so it helps humans survive. But now in today's modern world, it starts to work against us. Okay, because not all of us live in the jungle. Okay, not all of us are looking for a tiger in the bushes, right? Or checking out the bushes to see if there's a tiger there, that kind of thing. Good morning, guys. So what is it really? What are we really, what do we really want to accomplish? Well, we want to embrace positivity because like attracts like. Okay, it's not magic, it's your subconscious. Like attracts like all day long. Now, with the subconscious and superconscious, it's your feelings. Okay, the Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, your feelings are your God. And what he meant was that your feelings drive everything. Okay, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your day? How do you feel about your family? How do you feel about life in general? Okay, now, if the answer to those things is, well, I just feel okay, then you're going to get an okay life. Okay, when you start feeling good about things, okay, this is where you get you get this expression, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. How does that work? It works in your subconscious. Okay, so the rich get richer, right? As people get rich or get richer, what happens? Well, they're happy. Why? Well, because they're making money, or because they're being productive, or because they're doing things that result in wealth. Okay, now there's two ways to achieve wealth. And I go over this all the time because it's important that you grasp this concept. You can store up all your nuts like a squirrel, okay? All your money, put it all in the bank, live small, okay? You can live small. I know people that do that. They live small their whole lives. They save all their nuts like a squirrel, right? And then they have all this money at the end of their life. And generally what they're doing is they're either leaving it to their family or they're paying for medical bills because they've ran so hard during life. Okay, so this is what happens. It happens a lot. Okay, it happens a lot. So now, that's one way of becoming rich or wealthy or whatever, right? But wealth is more than just money. If you think that money is the only way you can do something, you're suffering from limited thinking. Okay, people that believe in God, okay, how can I say this? There's so many people that believe in God that don't do it the second way. Okay, what's the second way? Well, the second way is when you master this one, when you master the conscious, subconscious, superconscious, guess what? Money comes automatically. When you need something, it shows up. Why? Because like attracts like. Because it's your subconscious at work. Your subconscious works beneath the surface. So you're not really aware of all of these things that are going on. You just live your life, right? 5% of your life is conscious. 95% is subconscious. Okay? But when you do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and you focus on something, guess what? It happens. Is it a coincidence? A lot of people will say, yeah, it's coincidence. Let me give you an example, okay? XYZ company. I'm going to do the same. So if you've heard this before, you've heard me do this before, please be patient. Okay, we have a lot of new people. And we're on 7 platforms this morning, so we'd like to say aloha to all of you from Hawaii. I have a camera over here. I have a camera over here. I have a camera up there. We're on many different platforms. So how does this work? Like, how do you create or attract abundance in your life? Well, first of all, it's what you feel you attract. So how are you feeling? Okay, what you imagine you become. Okay, what are you imagining? What are you creating within? Because the kingdom is within. Jesus Christ told us the kingdom is within. So what are you creating in here? Because what's in here will be reflected out here. the condition of your house, the condition of your car, the condition of your desk, the condition of your things. Whatever's going on in here is going to be reflected out here. Okay, so that means that if you're happy inside, you're going to reflect prosperity outside. Now, it doesn't mean material things necessarily. Okay, it could mean just a really happy life. But there's so many people that I know that claim to be God people, religious, right? Oh, yeah, praise the Lord. Okay, I praise the Lord every day. I say the Lord's Prayer every day. Okay, I read my Bible almost every day, not every day. Okay, but here's the thing, right? When it comes to faith, people break down. Why? Because they're distracted out here in the physical. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. The body is anchored in the physical world. The spirit is in here. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're that energy that lives in here. And there are two separate worlds. This is the spirit world. This, okay, and this out here is the physical world. God lives in here. God does not live out there. There is no up there. Okay? People would like you to believe that there's an up there. Okay? The only thing out there is nature and things from someone else's in here, and if they can, you can. And what I mean by that is that if someone can build a building, you can build a building. If someone can invent an invention, you can do it too. Anything out here that's not of nature is possible by you. So we know it's possible, not always practical, right? But possible. So that brings us back to faith. So what is faith really? Well, faith is knowing, right? Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, either way, you're a believer, right? So you're going to believe something. And whatever you believe is what you get. Whatever you put in your subconscious as a belief is what you get. So the second way to wealth is when you apply the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. When you apply affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, guess what? Things pop up when you need it. A lot of people look at it, they go, oh, well, that's God. That's of course it's God. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the small unit of energy of the larger unit of energy, which is God. Some people call it consciousness. Some people call it God. Some people call it source. Some people call it universe. Whatever label you want to use, that's what it is. We call it superconscious because that's the network we're all plugged into. So if you look at it like a computer, the conscious mind is your operating software. The subconscious mind is where your programs are stored. You write the programs. Sometimes you write them in speech. Sometimes you write them in thought. But when you apply all four pillars, you're directing everything at your subconscious. Okay, the subconscious gets imprinted by emotion. This is why women manifest quickly, fast, because they're emotional beings. They feel everything. When you sit down and talk to a woman, she will tell you about how she feels about something. Okay? Men will sit down and tell you facts about something. Right? Well, this is the way it is. That's the way it is. This is the way it is. Really? So many of those facts are moldable, twistable, changeable, okay? And it depends on the parameters. It depends on perception. I can't even tell you how many people, when I was starting my consulting company, VMAC Consultants, you can look it up, it's a thing. When I was starting my consulting company, people were business people with MBAs, two of them, told me, oh no, this doesn't work that way, you can't do it that way. I'm like, really? They said, yeah. And they told me how, at the business level, how this wasn't possible to do what I was planning to do. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay. Did I pay attention? Hell no. I did it my way. Why? Because I believe in God, because I know God. Okay. If you know the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, you know God. And you know how God works. Because when you apply these things, when you apply the principles correctly, it's a science. Okay? It's a science. You cannot do, let's say, a positive action and get a negative result. And it's not about being positive all the time. It's about maintenance. It's about consistency. I don't like to use the word discipline because people get turned off. They go, oh, that's too much work, right? It's not too much work. Okay, here, let me show you. So you write things down. I keep these. This is the one I'm working on. Okay, these are affirmations. This is not journaling. Okay, everybody journals nowadays, right? They journal. I'll tell you the difference. Okay, this is affirmations. This looks crazy. I have about 12 of them in storage. I keep the old ones. Because when I look back, I go, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. I remember when this happened. I remember when that happened. And it doesn't happen right away. Okay, everybody's into instant gratification. Okay, so these things don't happen right away. Because what you do today, okay, shows up in your future. How you feel today shows up in your future. The actions that you do today show up in your future because it takes a little time for the reaction. Sir Isaac Newton, right? Every action produces an equal reaction. And this is why people don't put these things together. You do something nice in the morning, say you give a street person some money, say you donate to a charity, say you do something, buy somebody coffee at Starbucks, whatever it is. And then in the afternoon, you get awarded a contract. This happened to me so many times, right? But we don't link the two together. Why? Because hours have gone by, our focus has been applied to different things. All of a sudden, we get something, we take it for granted. We go, okay, that's part of my successful business model, right? Wrong. What you do comes back through your subconscious. The superconscious, or God, reacts to what is in your subconscious. Whatever you believe. Now we're not consciously aware of what we believe. Why? Because it's in the subconscious. We've committed it to the subconscious. The subconscious repeats. So when we have habits, right? You have a bad habit, you know you have a bad habit. You know the bad habits because they surface all the time. And you know it's bad because you don't like it. You're not comfortable with it. But you keep doing it. And you go, I don't know why I keep doing it. Nah, just get whatever. And you keep doing it. Because it's a habit. You know, oh, I know I need to quit smoking. I know I need to quit drinking. No, okay, it's a habit. Can you change a bad habit? Yes, easy. Very easy. Okay? Very easy. But you have to start in the subconscious. If you're just going to say, okay, I'm going to put it down, I'm not going to touch it. And then, a few weeks go by, months go by, then all of a sudden the conditions are right and it's like, yeah, let's partake in that again. And then boom, you're back in. Why? Because you didn't train your subconscious. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. The subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. God doesn't judge. Okay, all that fear-based Old Testament stuff is not God. I can tell you that. It's God weaponized is what that is. That's human intervention. The subconscious doesn't judge. You tell your subconscious what to do, your subconscious goes, okay. And that's what my affirmations are. Now, you can also make wishes. You can also pray. You can also have intentions. Okay? Ask, believe, receive. When you're praying, you're asking. When you're putting forth an intention, you're asking. When you desire, you're asking. All you have to do is believe in what it is you're asking for. This is why when you write affirmations, wait, where's my pen? Here. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I have won the lottery. Thank you. Why is that a stretch? Well, if you've never won a lottery before, if your subconscious cannot conceptualize receiving the lottery, you're going to have problems because you're going to have counter manifesting thoughts. Okay, because you're going to be writing the affirmation, but because it's so huge, you go, yeah, this will probably never happen, but I'm going to do this anyway. Cancel. Cancel. Cancels out right there. Okay. So you take it in steps. I started with $20. Then I did $50. Then I did $100. Then I did $500. Then I did $1,000. Then I did, I think, $3,000. Then $5,000. I stopped at $5,000 because I didn't have anything to prove anymore. And yes, they came in the form of contracts. So I stopped writing money affirmations. I started writing contract affirmations. Then I wrote for 3 contracts, 4 contracts, 5 contracts. Each contract was $2,500. And they started coming. Now, sometimes I wrote for 5 contracts. Sometimes I only got 3 contracts. You think I was upset? I was ecstatic. I was like, yeah. Okay. And these happened like right after I wrote the affirmation, like the week after, boom, they start coming in. The more I wrote, the more came. So I continued writing. I haven't done that for a while. I don't even have that company now. Okay. The pandemic took a couple of companies away from us, and we built 2 more. We have 2 new ones. But you can do this too. Anybody can do this. Not everybody has the faith to do this, but you have to believe in this one, okay? Now, how come most people don't believe in themselves? Well, because we've been persuaded not to. We've been led to believe that we are like a grain of sand on the beach. And against the total population of the world we are. However, God lives in here. You are an extension of the Creator. Okay. So, now what? Well, now you have power once you realize this, but you need to exercise it. Okay, I'm not here to sell you anything. There's no, oh, buy my course at the end of this thing. None of that. Okay? So grab your notepad and take notes. This is free. And they won't tell you this if they're selling you something. Okay, this manifestation thing, like, oh, manifest, yeah, it's like magic. We just do this and all this stuff comes. Okay? It does work that way. Kind of, sort of. But it works in your subconscious. There's more to it than that. Because you're bigger than that. You're a human being. And God lives in here. The temple is here. Okay, the kingdom is in here. Jesus Christ sits at the right hand of the Father, right? He told his apostles, cast the net to the right. What did they do? They found abundance. They couldn't even pull the net in the boat. Too much fish. But things have been told to you like stories. Things have been presented to you in a certain way that make you feel small. You know those people walking around with shirts, he is greater than I? You know what that does to a subconscious? It makes it feel small. He is greater than I. First of all, God is not a he. Okay, that's the first delusion. Okay. No, I'm not hating on the people selling those t-shirts. They're making money. They're probably doing good things with the money. They're probably getting paid well. Okay. And that's business. Church is a business. Okay. But I'm saying the effects of those things, the way it makes you feel, subdues the subconscious. So what do? Do you not believe in church? No. You do your homework and not be a one-book learner. When you do your homework, you'll go, oh, this is how the brain works. Oh, this is how the subconscious works. Oh, God does this to the subconscious, and they work together. The subconscious works together with God. Is God real? Yeah. God is very real. Very, very real. I always have two or three of my executive clients that don't believe in God because they're so rooted on the left side, the left brain, logic. Logic tells them there is no God because, well, we haven't seen him. He's not physically present, so, why should we believe in something we can't see? I've seen direct evidence, okay? But even the evil spirits that I have seen exist in other human beings, okay? Evil spirits are real because spirits are real. You're a spirit, even though you may not think so. So you want to be a good spirit, you want to be an evil spirit. It's up to you. If you take my teaching and you apply it to evil, you'll be good at it. If you want to apply it to good, you'll be good at it. If you want to manifest everything positive, you can do that. If you want to manifest everything negative, you can do that. God works off what's in your subconscious because it's all about what you believe to be true. So what do you believe? If you believe in God or you don't believe in God, either way you're a believer, what do you believe? How do you change these beliefs? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. What happens then? Well, then you start to believe other things because you've put it in your mind. Things like, I am capable. Okay, write down I am statements. In the Bible, God identifies himself to Moses as I am. He says, in Isaiah, he says, go and tell the people that I am sent you. When you understand what these things are, whoa, thank you. Thank you. Who did that? Infinite wealth. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, we have a chat going on over here. When you accumulate wealth the first way, okay, you're really taking a gamble. You save up everything, you live small. Oh, let's save everything. Okay, you live small, right? Sometimes things happen. Then you die small. And what I mean die small is you haven't gone on the trip. You said, well, we'll just save the money instead. You haven't gotten a good car. Oh, let's just drive the beater. It's okay. We're saving money. Money isn't worth anything. Just the paper it's printed on. Everything is perception. So when you really understand what things are, Jordan Maxwell said it the best. He said, nothing in the world works the way you think it does. Systems of things have been set up. This is why in the Bible, Jesus said, I will be with you till the end of the world, right? That's what we are familiar with reading. When you go back to the original Hebrew text, it says, I will be with you until the end of these systems of things. What does that mean? Well, we have systems of things. There is no end to these systems of things. There's a new system coming. Everybody's got anxiety about it. It's going to be a different world, all of that. Yeah. And it will continue to evolve because we evolve, because humans evolve. Systems evolve. Everything is designed to evolve. Humans are designed to evolve. You're designed to evolve. A lot of people don't know how. So they're sitting there going, okay, I know I need to evolve. I know I need to get better. I don't know how. The how is God's job. All you need to do is know what and why. Know your why. And what you want to do and why you want to do it. And hopefully your why concerns serving others in some way. Because then you're giving back. And when you're giving, guess what? You're going to receive. no matter what. Okay, you see these housewives, they're tired of the corporate world, they resign, they go home, they bake cookies, everybody comes and buys cookies. Sometimes the cookies are not that good. Sometimes the cookies are just as good as the one in the store. But people support her. Why? Whoever she is, right? Because she's bold enough to take that step. So people go, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. Well, I'll support you. Everybody supports. Why? Because inside, they probably want to be like her, right? And then, okay, support, let's support, let's support. Human beings are like that, but you have to lead. You have to be a leader, okay? The only reason I ever went from A to B to C to D, whatever, in my life is because I had to start leading. You have to start leading. When you start leading, you attract followers. And I'm not talking about social media. I am talking about leading in real life and people getting behind you. The majority of the people don't want to lead. Good morning. I realized I'm miserable with my job. Should I quit and trust in what I want to do? Uh, Good morning, Saab. So that depends on if what you want to do will feed you, because you have to pay bills, you have to pay the rent, you have to, that kind of thing. If it's practical, you'll know. Ask your subconscious. Sit down in a quiet space, close your distractors, your eyes, close your distractors like this, and ask. Ask the questions. You will receive the answer. The answer that keeps coming back is the answer. You have to learn to trust yourself. People don't trust themselves. Why? Well, because entities out here in the physical world have made us doubt ourselves. Sometimes you watch TV programs, people look stupid. They make people look stupid. Then you start wondering, well, I wonder if that's me too. I wonder if I'm stupid. I wonder if I'm not doing the right thing. Yes, for some reason, I seek permission from the outside world. Don't seek permission from the outside world. Ask God in here. Okay, God lives in you. The Creator lives in you, whoever you believe that is. Stefania, I usually get fired and all gets better. Okay, well, if you have to get fired for things to get better, then yeah. Let's see, we have a lot of comments today. Do you have an opinion about the courage to be dislike of a human being? Yeah, so you shouldn't care what other people think. I don't care what anybody thinks. Um, that gives you freedom, MIR. Okay, that gives you freedom. You have to, because when you constantly consider what other people think of you, they have control over you. It's like having a gaming control, and then you just give the controller to somebody and you go, here, control me, because you're concerned with what they think. You need to be concerned about what you think, and you need to do what is right according to you. And if you make a mistake, you correct the mistake. It's that easy. It's not difficult. It's not like your whole life depends on every decision that you make. So yeah, don't care about what other people think. That's an old school thing. Okay? Because a lot of people in the old school were concerned about image. So, oh wow, people might think this. You can't be that way because somebody will think this. Never mind what people think. The heck with them. Do you have one-on-one coaching available? Yes, I do. You can Jay, can you give the information? It will change your life. Did you change your beliefs to become the success you are? Yeah, big time, Stefania. Yes, very much so. Sometimes I feel like I have all the tools but don't know how to run my program with more confidence. Okay, so confidence is a relaxed feeling within, okay? When you do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, you will strengthen your confidence. confidence is not necessarily something that you need to add to you, okay? Because you were born confident. Have you ever seen an angry baby? Have you, sure, no problem. You're very welcome. Have you ever seen an angry baby? Have you ever seen a baby worried in a nursery in a hospital? When you go and, when you go and look at the babies, the little infants, have you ever seen an angry one? Have you ever seen a worried one, like this kind of look on their face, or they're like this, they're right? No, they're born into love energy. Okay, God is love. You come from love, and then oh yeah, life happens. Okay, life will take you like this, like this, like this, like this. The ability to be flexible is the greatest strength in life. I'll say it again. The ability to be flexible. Okay. I don't mean sacrifice your morals. I don't mean sacrifice your values. Be flexible. Be willing to bend. Bend over here, bend over here. And you bend so you don't break. There's so many people that are emotionally fragile nowadays. And I'm like, how does that work? We have 26, 30-year-old babies walking around. Babies. Okay. Babies in the sense that they haven't been taught what strength is, mental strength, mental focus. They haven't been taught what it is. Not unless they go to the military or something structured like that. Everything is mental focus. You don't even have to be good at something. I wasn't good at the things that I started. I wasn't good at my companies. I was good in anything. But my mentor told me at 13, he said, you can do, have, or be anything you want. What do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to entertain. I want to make people laugh. I want to have people have a good time, I was talking to Jay about it this morning. Having confidence wherever we are. Yeah, start writing I am statements. I am generous. I am whatever you are. I am loving. I am, right? And I am confident is a good one. How long did it take for your identity to change for you? About 66 days, 2 months. 2 months is a significant shift happens in 2 months. In 2 weeks, you'll start to feel it if you start doing that, the appropriate affirmation, whatever it is your target is. You have to have a target. You have to have an idea of the person you want to become. You have to have an idea of what you want to do. Okay? You don't have to figure out how. The how is God's job. God will figure out the how for you. Okay? And that's why I don't even plan anymore. I don't plan. Money comes all the time. Clients come, everything comes. I don't plan. I used to plan. Here's a problem in planning. Okay, while I'm mentioning this, I'll tell you. So you start out, right, and you have a plan. It goes A, B, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, in a row, because you write a list. So you take number 1 step, then number 2 step, then something takes you way out to left field, and you get your goal, and you haven't even done 4, 5, and 6 yet. And you go, wow, I never thought that would happen, right? This is why they say enjoy the journey. You got to enjoy the journey. The journey is fun, okay? But the journey is mental focus as well. You can't sit around going, oh, well, let's see what happens today. That means you're looking at life like this, life happening to you. Okay, life does not happen to you. Life comes from within. The kingdom is within. It unfolds for you according to what's in your subconscious, according to your belief, according to how you see yourself, how you see others. This is why Jesus Christ said, right? He only taught 2 things. Jesus only taught 2 things. First thing, love God more than you love yourself. Okay? Number 2, love others as thyself. What does that mean? Well, you got to love yourself first, right? Love others. Love your neighbor as yourself. So you have to love this one first. I'm working with clients right now. I have a couple of clients. One is making really good progress and starting to love himself. And one client, she's still kind of new. We're still kind of working on it. We make mistakes as human beings. And because we can observe ourselves, we hold ourselves accountable for the mistakes we make. And because of this, it lowers our self-esteem. Okay? Now, when you get judgmental, when you get like speaking out against others, whatever, okay? Everything comes back to you through your subconscious. Karma is not an invisible curtain of energy or something that punishes you because you did something wrong. You punish you. God doesn't punish you. It keeps a lot of people in church thinking that though, right? Because oh, well, gotta go to church. I gotta do this because I'm serving the Lord. If you're not serving this one, you're not serving the Lord. Why? Because the Lord lives in here. Okay, serve this one first. If you cannot take care of this one first, you have nothing to give out here. Nothing. If you have no compassion in here, you have no compassion out here. If you have no empathy in here, you have no empathy out here. If you have a negative self-image, God will see that and project that. Negative self-image. You don't think you're worth anything. God says, okay, well, you don't think, okay, we'll accentuate that. We'll build on that. And it'll get worse. And you have a subconscious that repeats. It learns in repetition, but then it starts to repeat. And what do? You get the same results over and over and over. And you go, wow, I really want to be confident. So confidence is not something you add to yourself. It's not like, okay, I'm going to go do this and that'll make me confident. No, it's taking away the negative emotions, getting rid of anxiety. I get rid of anxiety. In fact, yesterday I had this client. She's only been with me a few months. I think not even 2 months. And already the energy in her eyes has changed. She's more relaxed, more easygoing, more, the vibe changes just through her voice, just through the voice work. She's doing affirmations too. She's doing affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. We haven't got to the meditation yet. She's still working on the other three. But the voice has gotten her down. The expression through the voice, the straight tones that we do, have gotten her down and changed her whole vibe. And she is relaxed. Okay, so confidence is relaxation. Confidence is when your inside is relaxed. Confidence is when you don't care what other people think because you're relaxed. Okay? You're not concerned. You're not on edge. You're not on guard. You're relaxed. You don't care. Okay? IDGAF, that's your mode when you're confident. Now, this has nothing to do, my teaching has nothing to do with morals or values or anything, okay? I'm teaching you how the human being works. You use it for what you want. Because sometimes I'll say something and people go, well, if you're talking about God, then, you can't be talking like that. I'm like, no, I talk like that. I'm a human being. Okay, I'm not here to talk about God because I'm trying to be viewed as a good person. I don't care how you view me. I really don't care. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because so many people are buying into the delusions that are out there, the illusions that are out there. Gautama Buddha said that the man who sees life as an illusion escapes suffering. What kind of illusion? All the man-made constructs out there that you buy into, that you identify with, that steers you off your life path. Because then you're not allowing everything to unfold. Okay? Now you're buying into the corporation, you're buying into the institution, you're buying into the organization. And it's taking you away from who you are. It's also taking your life path away from you. It's leading you off the path. Things that keep you in fear. Things that keep you working so you don't have time for anything else. Okay? Entities that keep raising taxes, whatever, right? Making it harder. And if you don't know how to go with the flow with that, go with the flow of things and attract what it is you're supposed to be doing in life versus what you think you should do, then you get worn out, you get worn down, you get burnt out. I have a nurse. I have a nurse that was burnt out, and I put her on my program. She's been with me for 4 years now. Okay, when I met her, she was very edgy, her energy was very hard. Now she's gentle, she's loving, she's so easygoing. She even told me she's easier on her kids now. Okay, she was hard on her kids. She was strict. When I met her, she told me, I'm strict. I'm like, now I ask her, I said, are you still strict? She goes, a little bit. Okay. Here's why you don't be strict. If you take life like this and you have this white knuckle grip on life like this, okay, every time you make a mistake, guess what the repercussions are going to feel like? It's going to feel like this, okay, because you're running hard, because you're going hard. Okay, a lot of salespeople do that, right? Oh yeah, we got to run hard. We got to make our numbers. We got to do this, got to do that. Push. That only lasts for so long. Then they need to find another thing to push. Because push runs out of gas. Because in that case, they're persuading rather than inspiring. Okay? Inspiring is from feeling. Persuading is trying to change someone's mind. Okay, I think like this, but you want to sell me this over here and you want to make me think like this. So you push, argue, whatever, counterpoint, and then push over here. Okay, now I'm supposed to buy from you because you changed my mind? Well, that means you manipulated me. That means this is not my thinking, this is your thinking. But now you've got me thinking like you under some sort of pressure, under some sort of tactic, under some sort of you thinking like you're so smart. You see? But if you inspire someone to buy, you're just talking about this. You're just showing them. And they get the idea and they're like, wow, yeah, I'm inspired. I'm fired up. I'm on board. Let me sign up. Where do I sign up? What do I do? Right? Boom. Okay, so you salespeople out there, okay, inspire people to buy. Don't persuade. Okay? You're not that smart. People are smart. Everyone is smart. Everyone is born with infinite intelligence. They know what you're doing. And yeah, some will submit. But if you want to inspire, you'll hit more people. If you want to inspire, you'll do more good in the world instead of pushing someone over here. You feel, okay? You feel your feelings. Whatever it is you feel determines your life. Now, we have many things that we feel a certain way about. Human beings have many paradigms. You don't have just one paradigm. Okay, what is a paradigm? A paradigm is the way you see the world, okay? You have one way you act with your husband, one way you act with your wife, one way you act with your siblings, one way you act with your bestie, one way you see, okay? What happens when you haven't seen a classmate for 30 years, 40 years? You go to the class reunion, boom, you're picking up just like you left off. Why? Because it's in your subconscious. Because of your level of intelligence, because you're intelligent. You're way more intelligent than you realize. You're way more intelligent than you know. I've been teaching for 37 years. One of the things, and this is not an intended flex, it's just something that I do. I teach 3-year-olds. Well, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Lizzie. I teach 3-year-olds. Okay, and this grandmother recently told me, wow, my granddaughter, she's responding to you like that. And nobody took 3-year-olds. Everybody said I had to wait till she was 6. But she's brilliant. I know this girl. She's smart. She's gifted. And I said, yeah, 3-year-olds are people. So why didn't the other teachers take 3-year-old? Why did they have to wait till they were 6? Basically because they don't know how to teach. They don't know what teaching is. They don't know how to inspire a 3-year-old. You don't direct a 3-year-old. They don't understand. You don't sit there and teach concepts to a 3-year-old. Okay? They don't know how to teach. That's the difference between instructing and teaching and inspiring. Inspiration. It comes from the right hemisphere of the brain. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lizzie. You make a bad decision, you end up in a bad way, in a bad emotional state, and you suffer. But when you see these man-made constructs as illusions, meaning they were created by someone else's in here, okay? And you can do the same thing. You can create all kinds of stuff. Okay. Now, if you desire to create on a mass production level, that requires a little bit, there's more elements to that. There's more procedures to that. There's more steps to take. But you can create. You have the ability to create. And the best creators, the best inventors, the best scientists in the world have incorporated the right hemisphere into their teaching, into their inventions, into their scientific discoveries. Nikola Tesla was one of them. Okay. Now, the superconscious, okay, it represents infinite intelligence, limitless creative power. That's why Einstein said education will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Everything that has been created or invented has been imagined. A lot of people sit around and go, I can't imagine doing this. I don't know how to imagine something new. All you have to do is ask. Ask, believe, receive. So you don't know how to imagine? Ask. How do I imagine a better life? How do I imagine? Okay? The how is God's job. God will speak to you. God doesn't speak to you in words like I'm speaking. It's a feeling that you get. It's intuitive thought that you get. It's like when you're driving down the highway. Okay, you get that feeling you should turn right, but you dismiss it with your left logic brain. And you say, no, that's okay. I'm just going to go down to the next light. And you get stuck in a traffic jam. What do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned. Okay, those feelings are real. I'm here to tell you that we're all connected. God is real. That's God talking to you. It's a feeling. You have to trust your divine guidance. I hear people, oh, well, this is demonic, that's demonic, no, it's your subconscious. Okay, you're not a demon. You could be a demon if you want to. You could. Your subconscious could go in such a negative loop that you become a horrible human being. That's very, very possible. How do I imagine to overcome anxiety? Okay, so anxiety is rooted in fear. Okay, you need to get the fear out. You need to work on the fear. Ask yourself what you're afraid of. What are you really afraid of? Meditate on that. Meditate on what you're afraid of. It will come. Okay, there's probably something that you have gone through that is making you fearful. That is probably something that is, producing fear. And it may be a certain situation, maybe a certain thing, maybe a certain person. So you need to, first of all, identify it, okay? You have to identify what the problem is before you can solve it, Okay, a lot of people just focus on the problem. What does that do? That gives you more problems. Why? Because it goes in your subconscious. It repeats, repeats, wash, rinse, repeat. Now you're just focused on the problem. You're focused on the action of the problem, the initiation of the problem, not the problem itself, not what caused the problem. A lot of my clients go through the vocalization part of the program and they problem solve. Why? Because you detach from the problem. It breaks you free of the problem. It separates the body and the spirit. The spirit is in here. When you express with your voice, you break free of the subconscious conditioning. It's a process that probably takes 8 sessions. And it works. As a result, we only have 5-star reviews for both companies. The people that are the hardest to work with, or let's say the hardest to separate, are the people who are rooted in the physical world so much that they put their faith in the physical world. They put their faith in the bank. They put their faith in the corporation. They put their faith in the position. They put their faith in the degree. They put their faith in the university. And it's very difficult to separate them from their left brain thinking. Why? Because Jesus sits at the right. Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. So what do you have to do? You have to surrender the ego on the left. How do you do that? Isn't ego required? Yeah. What they call a healthy ego. A healthy ego is an ego you can turn off when you need to. But if you're anchored and distracted into the physical world, physical, right? Money. Position. Degree. Now you've forgotten all about this one in here. Until it's over, right? Retirement. And then what? Then life catches up to you. And then what do? Well, some people live in regret. I just had that discussion with someone yesterday. Regret. I know someone who's very close to me in my life who's 90 years old right now suffering from regret. Poor thing. I can't help her because she's my auntie. Kurt, oh, you've helped me a lot. I have a lot of unexpressed trauma, shame, and guilt in my body. Okay. You're very welcome. So, unexpressed trauma. Your trauma was expressed. That's the problem. Okay, so trauma is something negative that happened to you, okay, that stuck out in a huge way because it was really bad. Okay, trauma can be diminished. It's not difficult to diminish trauma. How to release this energy and step into the new me. Okay, well, first you have to identify the trauma. Okay, then you have to see it for what it is, something in the past. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Meditation is probably the best thing for trauma, okay, because it starts to show you the separation between the body and the spirit. When it starts to show you the separation of the body and the spirit, you no longer cling to the physical because you understand the spiritual. There's a lot of religious people all over the world that have no idea because they don't meditate. Meditation. Yep, meditation. So you need to release yourself from this physical bond that you have. Okay? Because you are bound to the physical in here. The prison is here. Okay? How do you unlock the door to the prison? You start to understand that the things out here were placed before you for a reason. You start to understand that there's a separation between God made and man made, and that you are God made. And God lives in here, not out there. There was this religious lady a couple months ago, you know, she was telling me how Jesus is going to come back through the clouds and save us, and going to be riding on a horse, and, you know, and it was a nice story. But when you understand that that story is talking about something in here, when you understand that resurrection happens in here, when you understand that ascension happens in here, when you understand that the journey of Moses is actually the migration from the left brain to the right brain, or let's say it another way, surrendering the ego so you can get to God, then you start to understand things better. Then you start to go, oh, yeah, okay. Because when you've been conditioned into a story, when you've been conditioned into a theme, into an understanding, whatever it is, and you're presented with the other side after a while, after being, you know, indoctrinated through your childhood and your teenage years and your early 20s, 30s, 40s, and then you see it and you go, that's strange, that's weird, that's off, that's BS. But conditioning is real, indoctrination is real. Okay, people that have been indoctrinated through education, right? And they get, and this is why I teach executives, because they need this side. They have the other side. They're good at the other side. They're the best at the other side. They're the best at execution. But when it comes to the other side, the God side, the right side, casting your net to the right side, they haven't the faintest idea until I demonstrate it to them. I show it to them. Then they experience it. Then they go, wow, okay, yeah, I get it. I don't have to push my way through life. Quantum physics tells us that, okay, if you're going to push, then your system should be do and then be, and then do and then be. Why? Because when you push like this, your blessings are trying to come to you, but you're pushing, push like that. Okay? This is your blessings right here. Okay? Trying to come to you. But when you take that vibrational break, because everything is energy in the universe, okay? You take that vibrational break, now your blessings come. Now your blessings come. Okay? And it's simple physics. It's not even, you know, quantum physics, but quantum physics tells us this. It's simple physics. When you push, you're pushing things away. When you're working hard work, I got 3 jobs. And then you start bragging about it, right? Oh, I have 3 jobs. Oh, you think that's something? I have 4 jobs. Oh, then yeah, I have 9 jobs. And where I work, I sleep 4 hours a day. The rest of the time I'm working. And people wear that as a badge of honor. Okay, that's silly. What they're doing is they're saying, I'm not grateful for this life I have been given because all I do with this is abuse it. All I do is boom, push. Money. You cannot serve God and mammon or God and money. You cannot have 2 masters. Okay? You will love one and hate the other. What does that mean? Well, you can serve this one or you can serve this one. I'm not talking about being selfish. I'm talking about serving God. God lives in here. But when you focus on something in the physical world, like money, okay, money, everything's money. Money. I know so many people like that. I know rich people like that. Money. And the question becomes, what are you going to do with all that money? You know, it just becomes a game after a while. It just becomes, okay, let's see if we can do 3 trillion. Let's see if we can do 5 trillion. Let's see if we can do, right? Whatever. hypothetically. But then the preoccupation or the distraction or the focus becomes money. Money is not evil. Money is a good thing to have. Money is not a bad thing. If you're using money for something bad, okay, it could be a bad thing. But when you worship money instead of God, instead of in here, okay, when you worship, you know how people, have you ever seen these girls, they take your credit card and they hold it like this, like they're worshiping something, right? Like this, like they hand it to you and they bow. They bow to they're bowing to the card as they give it to you. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's funny. Okay? And I feel bad for them. Why? Because this is what they hold sacred. Okay? Not this in here. Okay? This will attract everything for you. This will attract things when you need it. Okay? You're sitting around wondering, how am I going to pay this bill? And all of a sudden, boom, money shows up. Because you believe, because you have faith, because your heart in here, okay, your heart is in the right place. Where's the right place? In the spiritual world, not the physical world. Okay? It's in the spiritual world. When you're these are your distractors, these eyes. Okay, when it says in the Bible, okay, they look but they cannot see. They listen but they cannot hear. Why? Because you don't look with these things. These are not meant for seeking. You don't seek with these. You seek in here. You close these. Okay, now you can seek. You seek in here. These look away from the kingdom. The kingdom is in here. But your eyes look out there because we need eyes to walk around. We need eyes to do our business, to work, to do things. But when you seek in here. No such thing as seeking out here. What are you going to seek out here? Wherever you go, there you are. If you have problems and you're here and you go there, you're going to have problems over there. Okay, you fix the problem in here, you fix the problem everywhere. Okay, think about it. These attach you to things. These create your reality because it pulls you into realities. FG, how do you describe a soul isn't your brain just controlling you? Yeah, your brain just controls your body function. Okay? Your awareness is your soul. Your awareness. That's what we have in common. Okay? Conscious, subconscious, superconscious are three states of awareness. Okay? It's not your brain. Your brain does this. See, I'm providing the thought that says, move your fingers. My brain is doing this. Okay? My brain says, put your hands together. Okay? My mind, I'm giving the thought. Okay? And now my hands are together. Okay? Yeah. Very interesting. So awareness, this is what we all have in common. So in the Bible, where it says we are all one awareness. Every human being is aware. Animals don't have this. Animals just look out like this. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Your brain just controls whatever you tell it to do. You think a thought, your brain corresponds, it moves your body. Okay, your subconscious runs your heart. Your subconscious runs everything through repetition. So once you discover how to do this, right, the memory of this goes into your subconscious. Okay, so I play guitar. So whatever I play, however I play, I have to do it over and over in repetition. Okay, pretty soon I could just pick up my guitar and just play and just automatic. It's there. Why? It's been memorized in my subconscious. And now my body does it better than my mind. Conscious mind. That's what it means when they say that. When you hear somebody say, "Oh, my body does it better than my mind," they're talking about the body, the subconscious, responding and doing it better than your conscious mind, because your conscious mind is only 5%. It's only 5% of your life. 5% new things, 95% patterns, habits, okay, habitual motion, okay, emotional patterns. It's all in your subconscious, emotional pattern, the way you react to things, okay, the way you react to something, anything, that knee-jerk reaction that you get. Sometimes you can't control it, right? Because it's been memorized in your subconscious. But that knee-jerk, like some people don't like, I don't know, fingernails on a chalkboard. And they go, okay, knee-jerk reaction. Some people can't even control that. How do you control it? Well, you remove yourself and separate the body and the spirit. How do you do that? Well, your voice can do that. Your voice detaches you from that. How does it do that? Your neurotransmitters fire endorphins and oxytocin every time you project your voice with strength, long, straight tones. What does that do? It starts to separate you from the physical reality that you think you are, because you think you're a physical being. Okay? You have a body. You've been given a body, but you're in here. And this is infinite. This does not die. Your body will die. Your body will get too old. It'll get too old to function. And then you will lose your body. You will leave it behind and you will go. But while you're here, okay, enjoy your time. Okay, James Taylor sings a song called The Secret of Life, and the lyrics are, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. That's the secret. Make the most of your life. Why are you going to work hard, and then pay the hospital for the next 10 years after you retire? Take a couple of cruises, you're limping onto the boat, you're struggling to get around. Okay? God is very real. Just not like the churches tell you, at least not completely. They tell you the stories, they tell you the principles, they tell you the morals, okay? But you need to look deeper. You need to go in here, close your distractors, and do your meditation, which just means sitting still and feel God and feel the expansiveness of all creation. Okay, we went a little overtime today. Thank you, Jay. Yes, I learned after I got sick and life slowed down how reactive I'd been. Yeah, that's how it is, Lizzie. We're always reactive. We react. We bounce around like a pinball machine all the time in life. Yeah, but the physical world has been set up for us that way. Okay, and yeah, there's structure. There's a whole bunch of things that we'll get into more tomorrow. Okay, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.